Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is a mucking fun day. I hope you're having a decent one at least. We just got hit with the Sahara sand, so it's really warm all of a sudden here in the Netherlands. But it'll be cold in like a week or two, don't worry. We'll go back to the cold spring weather sooner or later. Also, the eclipse is today for those of you who live in the US or in the Arc that the eclipse is occurring in, because I think it's probably also happening a little bit in the Central, maybe South America a little bit. I don't have no idea. I didn't look at the Arc.
It's basically Canada to Mexico and then
yeah,
the ocean.
I'm like, I can't see it, so I just erased out of my mind. Wow, cool for you guys. But anyways,
most of it's over the ocean. So
yeah, so unless you have a boat,
Pacific.
Unless you have a boat in the Pacific Islands somewhere, you might be able to see it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into our headlines here on Mucking Fun Day. Today on Before Coffee. Top UN court to hold hearings in a case accusing Germany of facilitating Israel's Gaza conflict.
And Brazil is investigating Elon Musk for fake news.
Borrell. EU military naval mission has so far escorted 68 ships and repelled 11 attacks.
And it's been 50 years since Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's home run record. We talk about all the crap he went through.
Tom Holland's Romeo and Juliet show target of barrage of racial abuse.
Those stories and more, which is National Empanada Day, April 8th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Oh, right. Empanadas are delicious. Maybe I'll make some. I don't know if we have a plan for dinner, but I'm about to take over the plans. But first, let's talk about the escort mission of the EU, which is helping get ships through the Red Sea as the Houthi attacks are still happening, by the way. So if you're seeing prices go up, you may not actually be affected, but they're definitely using the Red Sea attacks as a reason to increase your prices. Oh yeah, we totally, sorry, I think actually famously what has happened is Elon Musk's Tesla put in a huge order in Germany to build a bunch of Teslas, and then Germany never got those parts in time, so they had to cancel the contract because you can't go through any of the channels right now. You have to take the long way around the Cape. And by the time they get there, we don't need these parts anymore, we give up. We wanted to do this job 6 months ago. Anyways, so the EU at Brussels has a naval mission as Spideys operating in the Red Sea and has so far escorted 68 ships and repelled 11 attacks. The head of the EU diplomacy, Joseph Borrell, stated that this at a press conference in Brussels on April 8th, which is today. He stressed that the mission has a defense mandate and that the EU is not involved in any group operations against the Houthi rebels who are attacking ships from Yemen. This is coming from České noviny, which I believe is a Czech newspaper. I think probably with cooperation from AP. It doesn't have an author. Oh, an author is CTK, whoever they are. CTK. So far, the mission has been in operation for less than 2 months. Our vessels are operating in self-defense to protect ships passing through the area, Borrell said. The commander of the mission, Commodore Vasilios Giparis, said that the commercial ships already know the procedures and can request protection when traveling through the risk area. The mission command will then decide on escorting the ship. So far, all vessels that have requested have been protected and escorted, added Giparis in Brussels. According to Giparis, the area the mission is trying to monitor is twice the size of the entire European Union. The southern part of the Red Sea is the most risky. You're telling me the ocean is bigger than the continents? Yeah, the entire ocean is larger than every single continent on the planet, so I'm not surprised that they're... But see, I think sea monitoring is probably a little easier than land monitoring because, you know, there aren't people's houses in the way. You can just go to a straight line. Or you don't have to do a flyover, right? You just sail your ship that direction. Not that the Red Sea isn't dangerous, but I think it's probably called the Red Sea because it's probably dangerous. A lot of people died there. That's why it's the Red Sea. Where was I? The southern part of the Red Sea is the most risky. According to Borrell, Operation Aspides, which means shield in Greek, involves ships from the member states, and 19 countries have contributed additional personnel to the mission, particularly at the headquarters on Larissa, Greece. EU diplomacy did not specify which countries were involved, but according to media, the ships were provided by France, Germany, Italy, and Belgium. Yeah, just look at the flags flying. We know which country they came from. The commander of the operations is the Greek Commodore Gipatis, and the commander of the forces is the Italian Rear Admiral Stefano Costantino. His representatives then comes from France. There are 130 people working at the headquarters in Larissa, with another 30 at the force headquarters, which is based on the Italian frigate, according to the European External Action Service, or EEAS. 2 soldiers from the Czech Republic are participating in the mission in the position of operations officer and intelligence expert. The Ministry of Defense confirmed to the CTK. Remember, this is an article from the Czechia, so that's why they care about what the Czech Republic is doing. He has been working at headquarters in Larissa since March of this year. Yemen's Shiite Houthi rebels, who control much of Yemen, including the capital Sana'a, have been attacking commercial vessels in the area since last November. They say the attacks are a response to Israel's war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip and the support some countries give to Israeli government. Iran supports the Houthi rebels. 12% of the global trade and up to 30% of the global container traffic pass through the important Red Sea shipping route. Meanwhile, the cost of transporting goods from China to Europe has doubled due to attacks. So buy local, guys, because you're not getting that Chinese shipment until 6 months later. Borrell said, it was necessary to intervene, and I'm proud that we were able to launch the operation only a month after we started discussing it with ministers, added the head of EU diplomacy. EU foreign ministers approved the launch of the Aspides mission on the 19th of February. The mission has a mandate for 1 year and a budget of 8 million euros, or 202 Czech, whatever they use. Because they gave me the conversion rate for that. So 202 million, 8 million euros to protect the ships, because the economy will suffer if these ships don't get from China to Europe. Not sure exactly what they are trading from China. It's probably all sorts of goods, all sorts of different things, personal shipments, as well as, I don't know, technology maybe. I have no idea. They didn't get into that detail. I don't know what gets traded, but so far it's been a success. They haven't had any issues. Because, yeah, that's what they said. They said we've literally, every single person who's called us for help has been helped. So, I guess if you need help, call the Speedies mission center and say, hey, help. And they have a 100% success rate so far, only 2 months in. So, we'll see what happens in a year when at the end of the trial for this mission. Hopefully, it doesn't last for a year, right? Hopefully, we can solve the problem of, not genociding Palestine, maybe, because that's why they're doing it. So they're trying to stop shipments of weapons to Israel. So if you just stop doing that, no problems. I think they'll stop, probably. I don't know. Anyways, that's my story. On to yours.
Okay, well, it's on to my stories as we cover the Mucking Fun Day news briefs, we're going to call this, because my stories are kind of short.
That's okay. It's Monday, we don't have to give everyone a huge deluge of information.
All right. Elon Musk, this is from AP News. Elon Musk will investigate over fake news and obstruction in Brazil after Supreme Court order. From David Biller of AP. A crusading Brazilian Supreme Court justice included Elon Musk as a target of an ongoing investigation over the dissemination of fake news and opened a separate investigation late Monday into the executive for alleged obstruction. In his decision, Justice Alexandre de Moraes, can't pronounce his name, noted that Musk on Saturday began waging a public disinformation campaign, what a shock, regarding the top court's actions, and that Musk continued the following day, most notably with comments that his social media company X would cease to comply with the court's orders to block certain accounts. The flagrant conduct of obstruction of Brazilian justice, incitement of crime, and public threat of disobedience of court orders and future lack of cooperation from the platform are facts that disrespect the sovereignty of Brazil, de Moraes wrote. Musk will be investigated for alleged intentional criminal instrumentation of X as part of an investigation into the network of people known as digital militias who allegedly spread defamatory fake news and threats against Supreme Court justices, according to the text of this decision. The new investigation will look into whether Musk engaged in obstruction, criminal organization, and incitement. Musk has not commented on X about the latest development as late as Sunday. Brazil's political right has long characterized de Moraes as overstepping his bounds to clamp down on free speech and engage in political persecution. In the digital militias investigation, lawmakers from former President Jair Bolsonaro's circle have been imprisoned and his supporters' homes raided. Bolsonaro himself became a target investigation in 2021. Well, he's an idiot who denied that he lost the election. So, screw that guy. De Moraes' defenders has said his decisions, although extraordinary, are legally sound and unnecessary to purge social media of fake news as well as extinguish threats to Brazilian democracy, notoriously underscored by the January 8th, 2023 uprising in Brazil's capital that resembled the January 6th, 2021 insurrection in the U.S. Capitol. Of course, Brazil, they actually arrested those people. What a shock. You can arrest people for violating the law. Okay. On Saturday, Musk, a self-declared free speech absolutist, only when it's his free speech, by the way, wrote on X that the platform would lift. He's a free speech absolutist, but he bans people from Twitter. That makes no fucking sense.
Perfect. Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Wrote on X that platform would lift all restrictions on blocked accounts and predicted that the move will likely dry up revenue in Brazil and force the company to shutter its local office. But principles matter more than profit, he wrote. Yeah, I suppose. The guy that told his advertisers to go fuck themselves. Elon Musk is just an idiot. He later instructed users to Brazil. I hate to oversimplify, but he's an idiot. He thinks he's smart because he was born rich and he gets to throw his money around. He later instructed users in Brazil to download a VPN to retain access if X was shut down, and wrote that X would publish all of de Moraes' demands, claiming that they violate Brazil law. They are the most draconian demands in any country on earth, he later wrote. Go visit North Korea, they're shit for brains. Musk has not published de Moraes' demands as of late Sunday, and prominent block accounts remain so, indicating X had yet to act based on Musk's previous pledges. Moraes' decision warned against doing so, saying that each blocked account that X eventually reactivates will entail a fine of 100,000 reais or $20,000 per day. And those responsible will be held legally to account for disobeying the court order. Brazil's Attorney General Saturday night said it was urgent for Brazil to regulate social media platforms. We cannot live in a society in which billionaires domiciled abroad can have control over social networks and put themselves in a position to violate the rule of law. Failing to comply with court orders and threatening our authorities, social peace is non-negotiable. Jorge Messias wrote on X. Brazil's constitution was drafted after a 1964-1985 military dictatorship. It contains a long list of aspirational goals and prohibitions against specific crimes such as racism and, more recently, homophobia. But freedom of speech is not absolute. So there's your quick story on Elon Musk getting his ass kicked in Brazil. And I guess we're just going to skip the other stories because those are kind of long. I don't want to go driving off into, another long, drawn out thing, unless you want me to. In which case I will.
Yeah, if you want to,
Well, we had a story, we had a quick story about a Boeing plane engine cover flying off and prompting an investigation. And
how were you even
from
surprised?
BBC. Yeah, the Southwest Airlines flight returned safely to Denver National Airport about 8:15 local time. After originally departing to Houston, the aircraft had 135 passengers and 6 crew members on board. It rose about 10,300 feet before landing. The incident comes amid manufacturing safety concerns about Boeing. We apologize for inconvenience, but our highest priority, ultimate safety of our customers and employees. We're apologizing for the delay, a cover throughout the engine. All right, so there you go. And we also have the NCAA Women's Championship was last night. Perfect finish. A dynasty. This is from Doug Feinberg of AP News. Kamala Cardoso delivered once again for Dawn Staley in South Carolina. A perfect finish, a dynasty, a team too big for Caitlin Clark in Iowa this time around. Cardoso had 15 points and a career 17 rebounds as South Carolina completed its perfect season with the 87-75 victory over Clark and the Hawkeyes in the NCAA championship game on Sunday. With Staley directing a relentless attack from the sideline, the Gamecocks, 38-0, became the 10th Division I team to go through the season without a loss. And they accomplished the feat after they lost all 5 starters from last year's season's team that lost to Clark's squad in the national semifinals. When young people lock in and have a belief and have trust, and their parents have the same trust, this is what can happen, Staley said. They made history. They're etched their names into history books. Clark did all she could to lead the Hawkeyes to the first championship. She scored 30 points, including a championship record 18 in the first quarter. She rewrote the record book at Iowa, 34-5, finishing as the career-leading scorer in NCAA Division I history with 3,951 points. She hopes her legacy isn't defined by falling short in 2 NCAA championships, but more by the millions of new fans she helped bring to the game and the countless young girls and boys that she inspired. I think it's the biggest thing is really hard to win these things. I think I know that better than most people by now. To be so close twice really hurts. As the final buzzer sounded, as stoic Clark walked off the court, through the confetti and into the tunnel, heading to the locker room. I personally want to thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. She carried a heavy load for our sport, Staley said. She's going to lift that league, WNBA, up as well. Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you're one of the GOATs of our game. We appreciate you. South Carolina's won 3 titles in the last 8 years, including 2 in the past 3, to lay claim to being the latest dynasty in women's basketball. Staley became the 5th coach to win at least 3 national championships, joining Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, Kim Mulkey, and Tara Vanderveer. The Gamecocks, who have won 109 of the last 112 games, became the first since UConn in 2016 to go undefeated. South Carolina, a couple of scares throughout the season, but always fun the way to win. With most of the team returning next year, Staley's team is in a good position to keep this run going. So there's your story. Congratulations to the Cocks.
Woo!
They are the champs. Go Cocks. Back to you.
Okay. Well,
I could have said nobody can beat the Cocks. I can say that. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess you can, for sure.
I could. That's right.
Wow. That was quite the news dump, but that's okay because a lot has happened. Next, we have some more news coming out of the EU. We're talking about Germany and Israel, and they're getting accused in the UN court for facilitating the Gaza conflict. So, this is coming out of the Hindu with additional help from the AP. Preliminary hearings open on Monday at the United Nations top court in a case that seeks to end German military and other aid to Israel, based on claims that Berlin is facilitating acts of genocide and breaches of international law in the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Israel strongly denies its military campaign amounts to breaches of the Genocide Convention. Yeah, I mean, why would you say, yeah, actually I agree. You're right, I am doing genocide. No one's gonna agree with that. So yeah, of course they're gonna deny it. Why would you ever agree? Yes, I actually am murdering civilians. How did you know? Surprise! While the case bought by Nicaragua centers on Germany, it indirectly aims for Israel's military campaign in Gaza following the deadly October 7th attacks. I'm sure you guys all know about this by now, but we'll go over it again. When the Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel, killing some 1,200 people, more than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. That sounds like an equal, fair trade. And according to the territory's Ministry of Health, it's told does not differentiate between civilians and combatants, but it's said that women and children make up the majority of the dead. Yeah, because they were the ones that were there. We are calm and we will set our legal position in court, German Foreign Ministry spokesperson Sebastian Fischer said ahead of the hearings. We reject Nicaragua's accusations, Mr. Fischer told the reporters in Berlin on Friday, which was April 5th. Germany has breached neither the Genocide Convention nor the international humanitarian law. We will set this out in detail before the International Court of Justice. Yeah, of course they would say that. Nicaragua has asked the court to hand down preliminary orders known as provisional measures, including Germany immediately suspend its aid to Israel, in particular its military assistance, including military equipment, insofar as this aid may be used to violation of the Genocide Convention and international law. The court will likely take weeks to deliver its preliminary decision, and Nicaragua's case will probably drag on for years. But at least that will stop them from supplying weapons or anything, just in case they are doing it. I guess that's the plan. Today's hearing on April 8th comes amid growing calls for allies to stop supplying arms to Israel as its 6-month campaign continues to lay waste to Gaza. I'm surprised they're still at Gaza right now, because just nobody has done anything. And defense has displaced the vast majority of its population. Food is scarce, the UN says famine is approaching, and few Palestinians have been able to leave the besieged territory. Yeah, I believe they said, hey, go this way to leave and go to Egypt, and then when they got there, they got shot anyways. The case next week in The Hague will likely further galvanize opposition to any support for Israel. Mary Ellen O'Connell, a professor of law and international peace studies at the University of Notre Dame, has said. On April 5th, the UN's top human rights body called on countries to stop selling or shipping weapons to Israel. The United States and Germany opposed the resolution. I mean, it must be tough for Germany because they did their own genocide, and I guess they're being pressured to not ever side against Israel in anything ever, because then that will be seen as them returning to their Nazi roots or something. I'm assuming it's political and socially political. Unless they actually do support the eradication of Palestinians. But, I mean, who's ever going to admit that? Whoever's, you only find out 50 years later, Oh yeah, I was in the room when the chancellor said, kill all the Palestinians. I was there, but you find that out years later after it's already happened. So, also, hundreds of British jurists, including the retired Supreme Court judges, have called on their government to suspend arms sales to Israel after 3 UK citizens were among the 7 aid workers from the charity World Central Kitchen killed in Israeli strikes. Israel said that the attack on the aid workers was a mistake caused by misidentification. I mean, if you just say everything's a mistake, who cares? Whoops! We killed some more people. I'm sorry, guys. We'll try again next time. Oh, it happened again? We're really trying, okay? We believe you, Israel. Germany has for decades been a staunch supporter of Israel, no kidding. Days after the October 7th attack by Hamas, Chancellor Olaf Scholz explained why our own history, our responsibility arising from the Holocaust, makes it a perpetual task for us to stand up for the security and state of Israel, he told lawmakers. Though I believe the majority of people living in Israel were not involved in the Holocaust, like a large majority, and I also hear that people who are survivors of the Holocaust are treated as third-class citizens in Israel. They're seen as losers who didn't survive, or who got caught, or whatever, got tortured, and they got put into camps. What losers? That's what I've heard from Israel society. They don't respect anybody who was actually a Holocaust survivor. They just think you're a loser and you shouldn't have got caught. Berlin, however, has gradually shifted its tone as civilian casualties in Gaza have soared, becoming increasingly critical of the humanitarian situation in Gaza and spoken out against the ground offensive in Rafah. Nicaragua's government, which has historical links with Palestinian organizations dating back to their support for it in 1979 Sandinista revolution, was itself accused earlier this year by the UN-backed human rights experts of systematic human rights abuses, tantamount to crimes against humanity. The government of President Daniel Ortega fiercely rejected the allegations. In January, the ICJ imposed provisional measures ordering Israel to do all it can to prevent death, destruction, and acts of genocide in Gaza. The orders came in a case filed by South Africa accusing Israel of breaching the genocide conventions. The court last week ordered Israel to take measures to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza, including opening more land crossings to allow food, water, fuel, and other supplies into the war-ravaged enclave. On Friday, April 5th, Israel said it's taking steps to increase the flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, including reopening key border crossings into northern Gaza. Nicaragua argues that by giving Israel political, financial, and military support, and by defunding the United Nations Aid by Agency for Palestinians, UNRWA, Germany is facilitating the commission of genocide, in any case has failed in its obligation to do everything possible to prevent the commission of genocide. Israel strongly denies that its assault amounts to genocidal acts, saying it is acting in self-defense. That child was gonna kill that IDF soldier, I swear! That child had a bomb! Israel illegal, that's not a quote, that's my own fake hypothetical situation. Israel's legal advisor Tal Becker told judges at the court in January that the country is fighting a war it did not start and did not want. Whatever, dude, I don't believe him. But we already know how I stand on this. But there you go. Germany is now going to trial. Going to take the fall for Israel, maybe. I don't know. It'll take years, as this article has stated, for anything to actually occur. And by the time everything's done, there probably won't be a Palestine anymore. I did hear that the U.S. gave rations to the Palestinians, but they're all expired, so they refuse to eat them. And some of them are so distrustful of any Western aid they believe they're poisoned. So that's how Palestine is doing. Their morale is quite low and they are entering a famine. Anyways, into some news about... I already forgot what you're talking about, but you're going to tell me your news story.
The news. Just more news. You don't have to tell them.
Just more news.
It's not the war they wanted, but it's the war Netanyahu wanted. I guarantee you that's the war he wanted all along.
Yeah, for sure.
Like from day one. Versus that scheming little Nazi got in charge. Well, sorry, you can't call him a Nazi, but I will.
But they're Jewish. They can't be Nazis. Okay,
Netanyahu's a freaking fascist. He's a freaking don't listen to reason. Just wants, oh, my side's right, and we must provoke violence. Anyway, he's been a thug his entire life. So, how about thug? That's a better word for old Netanyahu. That's what he is. He's a thug. And everybody knows it, basically, especially the people who like him. In other news, this is the 50th anniversary of the home run that broke Babe Ruth's record in baseball. And it was a big deal 50 years ago. This is from AP News. Charles Odom, Hank Aaron rose above racist hate mail, and threats of pursuit of Ruth's home run record 50 years ago. Hank Aaron refused to be intimidated by racist hate mail or threats during his pursuit of Babe Ruth's home run record. Aaron's teammates, including Dusty Baker, worried on his behalf, even as the future Hall of Famer circled the bases following his record-breaking 715th home run on April 8, 1974. Baker, who was on deck, and Tom House, Dusty Baker's a Major League manager now, and Tom House, who caught the homer in the Atlanta bullpen behind the left field wall, will return Monday for the 50-year anniversary of the homer. After sprinting from the bullpen to deliver the ball to Aaron at home plate, House found Aaron's mother giving the slugger a big hug. You can see both of them with tears in their eyes, House told the Associated Press. It was a mother and son. Obviously, that was cool. It was also mom protecting her boy from all that time. Everybody thought somebody would actually try to shoot him at the home plate. So there were all kinds of things. I gave him the ball. I said, "Here it is, Hank." He said, "Thanks, kid." Baker referred to Aaron as a father figure or a big brother who looked out for him as he began his playing career with the Braves. Baker and other teammates, including Ralph Garr, tried to look out for Aaron during a home run chase. "We always felt the need to protect him. We always felt that need," Baker said last week. "I think we were more afraid for him than he was actually afraid because he never showed any fear of the threats or whatever. It seems like it drove him to a higher concentration level than ever before was possible." Baker retired as Houston's manager following the 2023 season. Oh, okay, so he retired last year. Bob Hope, Then the Braves media relations director, not that Bob Hope, said Aaron would not be deterred by the threats issued late in the 1973 season as he approached Babe Ruth's record of 714 career homers. One time, the FBI wanted to come meet with him on Sunday and asked him not to play because they felt they had legitimate death threats on him, Hope said. We went down to the clubhouse and sat down with him. Hank just said, "What kind of statement would that be? I'm a baseball player. You guys do what you need to do to keep things secure, but I'm playing baseball." And I thought that was very reflective of his personality all the way through. Hope said most fan mail Aaron received was positive. The hate mail was not pleasant, but there wasn't nearly as much as you've been led to believe, Hope said. It was just very, very small percentage of fans were causing that problem. Hope and Baker remained close to Aaron after Aaron's career and until his death in 21 at 86. One of the honors of your life that you don't want is when Hank Aaron died at his funeral, Dusty and I were the only two non-family pallbearers, Hope said. When I realized that at the funeral, it was almost overwhelming. Wanya Lucas, Aaron's niece and daughter of Bill Lucas, who with the Braves in 1976 became Major League Baseball's first African-American general manager, said she can remember Uncle Hank remaining strong during the chase. She said that stayed constant even when the threats led to police cars showing up at Aaron's home and Aaron's oldest daughter, Gail, having to return home from college. I certainly understood the gravity of the situation and how the mood shifted is probably a good way to put it, Wanya Lucas said Friday, but I do also remember his quiet strength, and despite all those conditions I described, I felt safe in the home because I felt he gave us a sense of comfort. To mark the 50th anniversary of Aaron's 715th home run, the Atlanta History Center will open a new exhibit to the public through the Henry Louis Aaron Fund, celebrating Aaron on Tuesday that will remain open through the 25 All-Star Game in Atlanta. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is expected to attend a preview of the exhibit on Monday. Aaron's bat and ball he hit for the record homer, owned by the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, and normally not open to public viewing, will be on display at Truist Park Monument Garden on Monday. The Hank Aaron Invitational is designed to encourage high school players from diverse backgrounds to play higher levels. Alumni of the Hank Aaron Invitational include Cincinnati pitcher Hunter Green, who participated in 2015, and Braves outfielder Michael Harris, who played in 2018. Major League Baseball also supports other initiatives, including the Andre Dawson Classic, designed to promote diversity in sport. For me, just having somebody that looked like me that could be successful and do things that he's done, the road he paved for players like me, that's pretty huge, Harris said Friday. Despite those efforts, the number of black players in Major League rosters has declined. A study done by the Institute of Diversity and Ethics in Sports in Central Florida revealed that African Americans represented 6.2% of players in MLB opening day rosters in 2023, down from 7.2% in 2022. Both figures from the Institute's latest reports are lowest since the study began in 1991. A recent spike in the number of African Americans' first-round draft picks provides hope that the MLB's efforts, including Hank Aaron's Invitational, may make a difference. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I don't know if the percentages are going to go up too much higher in Major League Baseball, because Major League Baseball is really big in other countries like Dominican Republic and Japan. They send players here that are better than our players. So what, you may be
Japan loves
whatever color
baseball. Yeah.
The best player in the world is Japanese, Shohei Ohtani. So, yeah, and of course the 10 through 20, 100, top 100 is probably 50 Dominican players. So it's a very international sport, and we should probably honor the very first Hispanic baseball players to make it big in Major League Baseball, because they've basically taken over sport in America. So
maybe they don't want
there's a story on Hank Aaron
it because they don't want to acknowledge that Latinos are taking over the sport. So
well,
right?
there's organizations like the Milwaukee Brewers that build huge baseball complexes in the Dominican Republic. Just
for sure.
Train, Basically,
I'm just saying that maybe the fans don't want to acknowledge that their sport has been taken over by those other guys.
Fans are fans. I don't give a fans don't give a shit.
Well, it's just a theory. It's not a fact. It's just an idea.
Yeah. I mean, it was 50 years ago if Hank Aaron was getting death threats, and that shit don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody gets death threats for breaking a record. I mean, come on. Anyway, baseball fans are baseball fans, and it don't matter who's playing. They're baseball fans.
They're just here there to eat a hot dog, drink some beer, and watch the ball get hit.
Watch a beach ball get knocked out in the field.
Exactly.
Oh, they're going to pause the game.
And
here comes a beach ball.
Do the kiss cams or whatever, and that's what they're there for.
To Major League Baseball's credit, they have made the games faster. They put a clock on the pitchers.
Okay.
They put a clock on the batters. You can only throw to first base twice, and after that, it's a balk if you don't pick the guy off. So they sped the game up, and
they made it more
faster.
risky too, more skilled. Like you need to strike someone out, and if you don't, then they get a free base, basically.
But again, you gotta realize it is 2.5 hours of two guys playing catch. Right?
Yeah.
most plays are just two guys playing catch. Anyway, back to you.
Okay. Well, congratulations for breaking the record, I guess. What was it? What again? 50 years ago?
50 years ago today.
Yeah, 50 years ago today.
Record which no longer exists, by the way, because Barry Bonds broke it.
Well, the reason I was trying to bring out racial, I guess it might be racial, is because my story is about racial abuse. That's right. The world is still anti-black, and I will continue to say that until I guess I see news otherwise that it isn't. Because, one of the Juliet in this, I think it's a play. Yeah. Juliet in this play is a black woman. Oh no! Where? I have no idea. We'll read the article and find out. This is from Euronews Culture by David Morquand. I defy you, stars, wrote the bard in Romeo and Juliet. Replace stars with racists, and you've got some idea of where the producers of the forthcoming West End, so this is London, production of Shakespeare's romantic tragedy are at. The new production, billed as a pulsating new vision of Shakespeare's immortal tale of wordsmiths, rhymes, lovers, and fighters, has been the target of racist abuse, aimed at an unnamed cast member. The full show's cast was announced last week, and upon revealing the players, the Jamie Lloyd Company said there had been a barrage of deplorable racial abuse directed towards members of the company. You can't be in this show. You're black. I can't believe they made... I forget the name of the... Oh no, that's Hamlet. Shit. Does Romeo and Juliet have friends? No, that's not Hamlet, is it? Oh, I'm terrible at my Shakespeare plays. I haven't read one or seen one in a while. This must stop. We are working with an remarkable group of artists. We insist that they are free to create work without facing online harassment. We will continue to support and protect everyone in our company at all costs. Any abuse will not be tolerated and will be reported. Bullying and harassment have no place online in our industry or in our wider communities. Yeah, imagine being racist at the theater of all places. You're ruining theater. Your melanin has activated. The statement continued by saying that the rehearsal room is full of joy, compassion, and kindness. We celebrate the extraordinary talent of our incredible collaborators. The Romeo and Juliet community will continue to rehearse with generosity and love and focus on the creation of our production. Romeo and Juliet will mark the first time Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel films, has appeared on stage as an adult. He originally was Billy Elliot in the West End. That's where he kind of got his start as a performer. He was dancing in Billy Elliot as that. I think that's the main guy of the play. So he was the main guy dancing, and then he used that gymnastic ability to become Spider-Man, and he has been going up ever since. His co-star, Francesca Amuwada Rivers, will play Juliet in the James Lloyd-directed show. She makes her West End debut in the play and previously appeared in 2 seasons of the BBC series Bad Education and 3 short films. Oh, I think I've seen her somewhere. I think I've seen her in the Bad Education memes on the internet. I haven't seen the show myself. This depressing news does not come out of nowhere. as any casting involving gender or race switching in films, TV shows, or plays is usually met with a handful of hateful remarks. Because what do we learn? The world is anti-black. The world is anti-black. If there's a black person that there wasn't there before, you gotta send harassment to them. How dare you exist? Why isn't everyone I see on the television white? My whole worldview is destroyed! What do you mean you speak a different language? In 2021, a survey titled Race Between the Lines, Actors' Experiences of Race and Racism in Britain's Audition and Casting Process on Set, very long title, was commissioned by the Personal Managers Association, newly installed Racial Diversity Group, a collective of top British talent agents who convened earlier this year to tackle issues of race faced by actors of color in the UK. The study found that 64% of respondents experienced racist stereotyping in an audition. Can you be a little more ghetto, please? This is just how I talk. No, can you put on the accent for me? Can you sound like you're from Nigeria? And 55 experienced racist behavior in the workplace. Haha, big nose, funny. I'm guessing stuff like that. Romeo and Juliet would debut in the Duke of York's Theatre in London on 11th of May, and it's booked to run until the 3rd of August. So go out there and support your people of African descent. People with more color in their skin than you. In the Romeo and Juliet play featuring Tom Holland and, I already forgot her name, Francesca Amuada Rivers. So, I just learned her name now, so I already forgot it. There are already rumors that the show will transfer to Broadway. So they're going to go from the West End to Broadway already. Exciting. Go support your diversity in theater. And if you see any people being racist, punch them in the face. That's what I do.
Punch them in the face. Yeah, because violence solves everything.
It doesn't, though, but I don't know. Okay. Sometimes it feels good to just give them bloody nose. I don't know. I can't deal with racist. I'm just like, are you seriously just... when somebody says anything's prejudiced.
Ridiculous.
Whenever somebody says, you know those people from there, and I'm like, what do you mean those people from there? You know every single person from that country, and you're saying they're all like that? That's crazy to me. That's insane. That's insanity to me. Of course, I've experienced this in my own life, which is why it triggers me so. But try your best not to be racially insensitive, and on to this day in history. That's all I ask from you on this show.
What a weird story, because I've only been to London one time. And I've only been to the Globe Theatre one time. And that was, of course, Shakespeare's Theatre.
Yeah.
At the time I was at the Globe Theatre, they were throwing a presentation of...
Midsummer Night's Dream?
Midsummer Night's Dream, and it was all black women in the play. Every actor.
Not a single man,
black woman.
They did a reverse of what happened in Shakespeare's day, where all men, it was all men, right?
And it was the official Shakespearean theme,
whatever
you call it. Yeah, all right. So why would this be a big deal now? I have no idea why this is. Anyway, on to this day in history, 1838. The Great Western, the earliest regular transatlantic steamer, embarked on its maiden voyage from Bristol, England to New York City. The first transatlantic steamer, 1838. That's some big progress there, folks. 1859, on this day, German philosopher Edmund Husserl. Oh, you did get my video, right?
Oh yeah, let me see. I have gotten your video.
All right. German philosopher Edmund Husserl, who was the founder of phenomenology.
Wow, what is that?
If you want to know what that is, I'll look it up. 1912, Sonja Henie, a Norwegian-American figure skater, was born. She won 10 consecutive... she won the World Amateur Championship for women 10 consecutive years and won 3 gold medals in the Winter Olympic Games. 1928, 1932, and 1936. And the phenomenology is philosophy. It doesn't even say what it is. It's just the name of a book, apparently.
It's just a book.
It's written by Herman Spitzelberg. So,
I guess I'll look it up.
His name isn't even on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You continue. I will look this up.
It's a philosophy movement.
Oh,
the primary objective of which is direct investigations and description of phenomena as consciously experienced without theories about the casual explanations, possible unexamined preconceptions and presuppositions. Well, there you go. Man, glad I looked that up.
Can you make that in easier terms?
Can I define a definition? No, I can't. Because it just throws more words out there that we have to look up. 1913, the 17th Amendment, which called for the voters' direct election of U.S. senators of states, was ratified. So we've only been directly electing senators since 1913. Before that, the state assemblies chose them, I believe. 1920, Venus de Milo, an ancient statue commonly thought to be represent Aphrodite, was found in pieces on the Aegean island of Milos. It was later reconstructed and put on display in the Louvre in Paris. The Louvre. Did I say it? The Louvre. 1941, British fashion designer Vivienne Westwood, who with her partner Malcolm McLaren extended the influence of 1970s punk music movement into fashion, was born. Of course, Malcolm McLaren formed the Sex Pistols. 1950, Jawaharlal Nehru of India concluded the Delhi Pact with Liaquat Ali Khan of Pakistan, providing for the safe passage of refugees displaced after the two countries severed relations in December 1949. Oh, they severed? Did India and Pakistan ever make up? Have they made up yet?
I don't think they ever will, because they're just not the same people, you know?
They're just not going to get along.
Yeah.
Pablo Picasso, perhaps the most influential artist of the 20th century, died in this day in 1973 at the age of 91.
And women celebrated everywhere because he was a dick to women.
Oh,
all the women in his life, even his children, I think.
Oh, well, the women that knew him.
The women who knew him celebrated, yeah. Thank God.
You can always you can spot a Picasso from a mile away. 1970, because people's eyes are over here and over there. American baseball player Hank Aaron on this day in 1974, which we covered, hit his 715th home run. In 1979, the final episode of All in the Family aired on CBS, one of the TV's most successful sitcoms. It was known for its frank and satirical treatment of such topics as race, gender, sex, and bigotry. And no, there was not a guy named Frank.
Feelings with that.
There was nobody named Frank in the show. No, All in the Family turned television on its ear. It really did when it first came on.
Literally, everyone was on their ears.
Nobody was confronting anything on TV until All in the Family.
Wait, you mean it's wrong to be racist? Oh my God.
There was no divorce on TV.
Yeah.
There was no, bigotry was not dealt with up front at all. It was just buried.
They didn't do that thing where they do a free shot and they go, oh! when bigotry happens.
No,
they do that now.
They didn't do it. It was just a different world. You just had to live it. The first episode of Twin Peaks aired on television and won a critical acclaim and cult following with its unconventional narrative, surreal tone, and eerie characters. That was in this day in 1990. Also in 1990, Ryan White, who became the national symbol in the United States after he contracted AIDS from blood transfusion given to treat his hemophilia, died at the age of 18. Of course, he made friends with Elton John before he died. Of course, as bigotry, or attack the bigotry, nobody gave a shit about AIDS until an 18-year-old kid died from it. That's the facts, folks.
Yep.
So 1990 is the day we started giving a shit about AIDS. 2003, it was reported that springtails, long thought to be among the oldest ancestors of insects, did not evolve as insects, but rather evolved from a separate group that formed even before crustaceans and insects diverged. Well, there you go. More evolution news. On this day in 2013, British politician Margaret Thatcher died at the age of 87. She was Europe's first woman prime minister from 1979 to 1990. Another one is one of the most purple people responsible for pretending that AIDS was just it's only happening to bad people. She was one of them, along with Reagan. Of course, Reagan only cared about AIDS after Rock Hudson died, and Rock Hudson was a close friend of Nancy Reagan. Our featured event today is celebration of Buddha's birth. Happy birthday to Buddha! On this day, most practitioners of Buddhism in Japan celebrate the birth of Buddha, who lived in India somewhere between the 6th and 4th century. That's a wide berth. The 6th and 4th century BCE and founded Buddhism. Okay, we know it's his birthday, but we don't know what century he was born. Okay, got it. We'll just pick a day, just like we do with Jesus. Okay. Kofi Annan's birthday today. Ghanaian Statements as Secretary General of the United Nations. He was born April 8th, 1938, and died in August 2018 at the age of 80. He was born in Hamasi, Gold Coast, and died in Bern, Switzerland. He was probably being a diplomat when he died, huh? At the age of 80? Just a guess. Unless he retired to Switzerland.
Maybe.
Other birthdays today. 1918's birthday of First Lady Betty Ford, founder of the Betty Ford Clinics, of course, for famous celebrities to dry out and get off their habits. 1929, Jacques Brel, Belgian singer and songwriter, was born. 1937, Seymour Hersh, American journalist, was born. We already covered Kofi Annan. It's also the birthday of Patricia Arquette, born on this day in 1968. Happy birthday, Patricia Arquette. And what day is it? It's only 3 things today. It is National Empanada Day. Those are good. It's like food it's like a Hot Pocket, but better. National Zoo Lovers. National Zoo Lovers Day. Yeah. So go to your nearest animal prison and go look at those inmates in the zoo. And it's National All Is Ours Day. So there you go. If you're selfish, then you want to know that all is ours, because owning shit's the only thing that matters. I don't know what that means. Observed every day in observed each year on April 8th, National All Is Ours Day takes us along 3 views of appreciation. Celebrate each of the approaches to the day or pick one that best suits you. What are the 3 approaches? What are they? The first way is can be looked on as a time reflecting all the beauty of nature and all of the wonderful things in life. The second way is to celebrate the day by appreciating everything we have. Ooh, look at all my stuff. And the third way is to view the day by sharing all that we have, which is even more special. Regardless of what we have, sharing it seems to make tough times easier when we all work together. That is absolutely true. If you have a sandwich and it's cut in 2 and you give half away, not only do you feel better, you fed somebody. There you go. And those are today's days on the comprehensive news of planet Earth. As my voice cracks. Earth. Would you like some fries with that, Mr. Johnson? At my comprehensive news of planet Earth on April 8th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Okay, and this has been Ally here. Warm Netherlands. Phenomenal. I do know what phenomenology is, and it's basically the opposite of rationality. That's all you need to know. So instead of you going, why is this like this? You just go, this is. Because I experienced it. The sun is warm because I experienced the warmth of the sun. I don't need to think about how it's warm, about the molecular structure of the atoms that are exploding constantly. You just experience
I am a stone.
Intuitive reasoning. No reasoning, actually. Okay. Zero reasoning, just intuitive feel. So it's considered getting philosophy from below, not from above. That's what it's called.
So you were just a rock.
Yeah.
You're a rock absorbing the sun. You're not trying to place yourself in the cosmos anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You just accept it.
So.
You're accepting it.
I think I ascribe to phenomenology, so that's my thing. Rationality can get you too much in your head. So.
Yeah.
Either way, thank you everyone for watching another Mucking Fun Day. I hope you have a good Monday.
And don't look at the sun.
And don't look at the sun. I warn you again. You will burn your retinas if you look at the sun. Enjoy the eclipse. Enjoy the warm weather if you're currently getting hit by the Sahara sandstorm. And stay safe out there. Here is your mic drop moment.
Once again, a standing ovation for Henry Aaron. So the confrontation for the second time. Aaron walked in the second inning. He means the tying run at the plate now. So we'll see what Downing does. Al at the belt, delivers, and he's low. Ball one. And that just adds to the pressure. The crowd booing. Downing has to ignore the sound effects and stay a professional and pitch his game. 1 ball and no strikes. Aaron waiting. The outfield deep and straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. For baseball, what a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol. And it is a great moment for all of us, and particularly for Henry Aaron, who was met at home plate not only by every member of the Braves, but by his father and mother. He threw his arms around his father, and as he left the home plate area, his mother came running across the grass, threw her arms around his neck, kissed him for all she was worth. As Aaron circled the bases, the Dodgers on the infield shook his hand, and that was a memorable moment. Aaron is being mobbed by photographers. He is holding...
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.